You've been chasing more your entire life. More money, more success, more validation. And every time you reach the next level, the goalpost moves. You adapt. The achievement fades. And the hunger returns stronger than before. That's not ambition. That's a trap. And Aristotle saw it coming 2,300 years ago. Most people never ask the question that could free them. How much is enough? They assume more is always better. They confuse progress with purpose, and they spend decades climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. Aristotle didn't just answer this question, he built a formula for it. A system that separates freedom from slavery, wisdom from noise, and true satisfaction from the empty rush of achievement. This isn't philosophy for classrooms. This is psychology for survival in a world designed to keep you wanting. In the next minutes, you'll learn why your brain can't tell you when enough is enough, how to calculate your personal threshold using Aristotle's 5-part formula, and the single question that exposes whether you're living for your purpose or someone else's profit. By the end, you'll have a method Aristotle called Phronesis, practical wisdom, the ability to see the invisible line between enough and too much in real time. But first, let me show you exactly how the system hijacked your definition of success. Modern life replaced survival with comparison. You're not hunting food anymore. You're hunting status. Every advertisement whispers the same message. You're still behind. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. The neuroscience is brutal. You achieve something, dopamine spikes for 48 to 72 hours, then your brain recalibrates. What felt like victory yesterday feels normal today. Boring even. So you chase the next hit. Bigger house, better title, more followers. The rush gets shorter each time. Stanford researchers found that people who earn 6 figures report the same life satisfaction as those earning half that amount within 18 months. The spike fades. The baseline stays the same. But here's where it gets disturbing. The economy depends on you never reaching enough. Consumer culture is built on manufactured dissatisfaction. Marketing teams study your insecurities the way generals study terrain. They don't sell products. They sell the feeling that you're incomplete without them. Aristotle would call this corrupted desire. When your goals stop serving your purpose and start serving someone else's profit margin, you've lost control of your own life. You're working harder than your father, earning more and feeling less satisfied. That's not progress. That's confusion. Think about the last major purchase you made. The one that was supposed to change everything. How long did that feeling last? A week? A month? Now it's just another thing you own, another responsibility you maintain, another weight you carry. That's the cycle. And you can't break it by working harder or earning more because the problem isn't in your bank account. It's in your definition of enough. You're using the wrong compass, and Aristotle knew exactly why. Aristotle believed nothing in nature exists without a purpose. Every seed aims to become a tree. Every tool performs its function. And humans have a purpose too. He called it telos, your unique end, your reason for being. But unlike the tree, your purpose isn't given by biology. It must be discovered through reason. That's the first part of his formula, telos. Know what your life is for. Not what your parents told you. Not what Instagram suggests. Not what society rewards. What your reason, your highest faculty, chooses to pursue. He wrote this in the Nicomachean Ethics. Happiness is the activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. Most people misunderstand that word. Happiness. It doesn't mean pleasure or comfort. The Greek word is eudaimonia, flourishing. It means living fully, performing your function with excellence. When Aristotle asks, how much is enough? He's really asking, enough for what? Enough to do what? If you can't answer that, every dollar you earn, every possession you acquire becomes another chain. Because without telos, you have no standard to measure against. Here's the test. Fill in this blank. I want enough so that I can blank. Write it down. 1 sentence. Be specific. Not be happy or feel secure. Those are feelings, not functions. Aristotle wants to know what you're here to do. Raise children who think critically? Build something that lasts? Serve a community? Master a craft? That sentence is your North Star. Everything you own, every choice you make should either support that purpose or its dead weight. If you can't fill in that blank, you don't have a life strategy. You have a collection of reactions to other people's agendas. Now comes the hard part. Once you define your telos, you have to align your external life with it. Aristotle divided goods into three categories: internal goods, virtue, wisdom, character; bodily goods, health, vitality, strength; and external goods, wealth, reputation, relationships. Each has its place, but only internal goods define the quality of a life. The rest support it. He warned that when external goods dominate, they corrupt the inner ones. Wealth without virtue becomes greed. Health without purpose becomes vanity. Friendship without truth becomes flattery. This is where most people fail. They build their lives around external goods and wonder why success feels hollow. You can have a 7-figure income and still be enslaved if your wealth controls your choices instead of enabling them. You can have a flawless body and still be weak if vanity drives your discipline instead of health. Aristotle didn't condemn possessions, he condemned confusion. The mistake of treating tools like they're the goal. Money is a tool. Status is a tool. Even relationships, when not built on truth, are just tools. The question isn't whether you have them. The question is whether they serve your telos or distract from it. Pause for a second. Think about your last promotion, your last achievement. Did it give you more freedom to pursue your purpose, or did it just add more obligations, more pressure, more noise? If the answer is noise, you crossed the line. You went past enough without realizing it. And that's the second part of Aristotle's formula, the doctrine of the mean. He believed every virtue exists between two extremes. Courage sits between cowardice and recklessness. Generosity between greed and waste. Discipline between indulgence and rigidity. The virtuous life isn't about choosing a side. It's about standing in the center where reason governs desire. He called this mesotes, the middle path. Enough isn't a fixed number. It's a moving point that shifts with your life, your context, your purpose. The mean for a father is different from the mean for a young man. The mean for a builder is different from the mean for a teacher. But the method is the same. Use reason to balance desire. Too little and you can't act. Too much and you drown. The goal is proportion, the perfect alignment between what you own and what you're here to do. Here's how you find it. Aristotle's 5-question audit. Before every decision, every purchase, every commitment that costs time or energy, ask yourself these 5 things. First, the telos check. Does this choice serve the purpose I defined earlier? If it doesn't, you're feeding the wrong beast. Second, the consequence check. Will this strengthen my character or weaken it? Every action leaves a mark. You can gain profit and lose integrity. That's not success, that's decay. Third, the extremes check. Am I drifting toward excess or deficiency? Am I pushing too hard or playing too safe? Notice when pride or fear start steering the wheel. Fourth, the context check. What is right for me right now? A king's generosity isn't a worker's. A father's duty differs from a student's freedom. The mean is personal. And fifth, the reflection check. After the act, look back. Did it serve your telos or your ego? Did it bring peace or noise? Reflection turns experience into wisdom. These 5 questions sharpen your perception. That's phronesis. Practical wisdom. The ability to see the right action at the right time. You can't learn it from a book. It's built through living consciously, through slowing down decisions and examining them honestly. Most men never develop phronesis because modern life punishes pauses. You're rewarded for speed, for action, for saying yes. But Aristotle admired restraint. The man who could stop at the perfect moment, not because he was forced to, but because he understood why. The coward refuses to act. The reckless acts without thought. The courageous acts with judgment. That judgment is phronesis. And once you have it, you start to notice something strange. The craving for more loses its grip. The noise quiets. What remains is clarity. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Imagine 2 men, same income, same age. One uses his money to buy time. He works enough to cover his needs, invests in his health, reads, thinks, mentors his son. The other spends his money chasing comfort, new car, new gadgets, new validation. Same income, 2 completely different lives. One man grows freer, the other grows emptier. That's Aristotle's point. The question isn't how much you own. It's whether what you own serves your telos. Aristotle called the free man's goal autarkia, self-sufficiency. Not isolation, but independence. The ability to act by reason, not fear. He outlined what he called the band of sufficiency, a middle zone where you possess just enough to live freely and act wisely. Think of it through 4 pillars. First runway, financial buffer, enough time where you can act by reason, not panic. For some, that's 6 months of expenses. For others, it's a debt-free life. The amount doesn't matter. The freedom from fear does. Second, health. The body is the servant of the soul. If it fails, your mind can't perform. Enough health means strength and clarity, not perfection. Movement, rest, discipline. Third, relationships. Aristotle called us political animals. Not politics as in elections, but as in community. Friends, mentors, family, keep your reason honest. You don't need many, just a few who demand your best self. Fourth, credibility. Your name, your craft, your integrity. Without it, your voice loses weight. Reputation isn't vanity. It's influence. It allows you to shape the world according to virtue. Together, these 4 form your external base. Enough is when each is secure enough that you can think, choose, and act without fear. Notice how none of this is about abundance. It's about autonomy. When wealth begins to buy distraction instead of independence, you've crossed the line. Here's the checklist. Does this purchase serve my purpose or distract from it? Will it cost me time for contemplation? Does it make me crave approval? Does it increase or decrease my independence? If I lost it tomorrow, would I lose myself? If the answer to any of these is yes, you're past the mean. Because Aristotle didn't preach minimalism. He preached mastery. Possess only what allows you to live with excellence, to act without fear, and to think without pressure. That shift from quantity to purpose is the quiet revolution. But here's the final layer, the one most people miss. Aristotle believed the ultimate mark of a free man isn't how much he owns. It's how much time he can afford to waste wisely. He used a word almost no one remembers. Schole, leisure. But not the kind spent scrolling or escaping. Schole was sacred time reserved for reflection, study, contemplation. The highest form of activity because it allowed man to exercise reason without pressure, without purpose other than truth itself. The modern world killed Schole. We glorify the busy, the productive, the always available. Rest feels like guilt. Pausing feels like falling behind. But Aristotle saw rest as the foundation of freedom. Without time to think, you lose the ability to judge. Without judgment, you lose phronesis. And without phronesis, even success becomes chaos. He wrote that leisure is the basis of culture, because only in stillness can wisdom grow. So if you want to know whether you're free, don't look at your bank account. Look at your calendar. Do you control your time, or does time control you? A wealthy man who cannot stop working is still a slave. A poor man who owns his mornings may be freer than a king. Start small. Block 2 hours a week for thinking alone. No phone, no music. Just you, a notebook, and the question. Is my life serving my purpose? If you can't spare 2 hours for your mind, you're not free, you're busy being managed. This is Aristotle's final test of enough. You know you've reached it when you can afford time for thought without guilt. When you can sit in silence and not feel the need to prove anything. Because money can buy pleasure, status, even temporary peace. But Schole, the time to be fully human, that's something no system can sell you. It must be protected deliberately every day. When you own your time, you own your mind. And when you own your mind, no one can own you. So here's Aristotle's complete formula. 5 parts working together. Telos, know what your life is for. Virtue, choose the mean. Phronesis, practice wisdom in decisions. External goods, secure what's necessary for independence. Schole, protect your time for reflection. When each part supports the next, you reach eudaimonia, the flourishing of the soul. But knowing the formula isn't enough. You have to live it. Try this 7-day challenge. Day 1, write your telos in 1 clear sentence. Day 2, list the external goods you truly need to live it. Day 3, spend 24 hours without buying or seeking anything new. Day 4, block 2 hours of Schole, pure thought. Day 5, apply the 5-question audit to 1 major decision. Day 6, talk with someone who lives by reason, not impulse. Day 7, reflect. Ask what truly felt like enough. Because in the end, enough isn't a destination. It's a discipline. A daily practice of alignment between who you are and what you have. Aristotle said happiness is the activity of the soul in accordance with virtue. Not happiness as pleasure, but as power, the power to act freely within the limits of your own wisdom. Enough is not about having less, it's about being undivided. And once you reach that point, you'll realize you were never missing anything. You were only distracted from yourself. If this made you question what you're really chasing, you're already halfway to freedom. The rest is practice.